Please, 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 whatever you do, avoid making these mistakes as a buyer's agent. In this video, I'm going to share the 4 biggest and most common mistakes that I see buyer's agents making so that hopefully you don't make any of them, since you will know after watching this video. And if you're new to the channel, my name is Tyler Roicki. I help people build income and wealth in real estate, and I run an international real estate team at eXp Realty. If you get any value whatsoever out of this video, all I'd ask is that you like, comment, and hit that subscribe button so that I can continue to share more tips and resources with you in the time ahead. And with that in mind, let's dive into the video. So the first mistake I see buyer's agents making, especially those who are newer to the real estate industry, is not having a buyer's consultation as a first step. And this is terrible because I work with a lot of newly licensed real estate agents. I've helped over 100 launch their careers in real estate over the past couple years. And I would tell you, no matter what I say, this mistake still gets made. And unfortunately, you're either going to hear me out and recognize that this is the natural first step in the process that needs to happen, or you're gonna hear what I say, have it go from one ear out the other, and realize firsthand a year or so into the game that you keep losing opportunity because you don't take this step. And so anyway, I can go off, and I just get frustrated because I hate to see agents lose opportunity that they could have otherwise secured if they just simply followed the process of what happens next and being the professional and leading people forward with that first step. And so always have a buyer's consultation. There's no exceptions. There's only 2 ways to have a buyer's consultation. First and best way is in person. If that person's in your local market, you want to meet and do a face-to-face buyer's consultation. You've got to sit down somewhere. There's got to be a table so that you can sit down, review your notes, go over things. It's your opportunity to walk them through the process. But even if they've been through the process many times before, it's important to really get on the same page with what their goals are with the purchase, what the criteria is, what they're looking for, and most importantly, for you to have an opportunity to set an expectation of what happens next. So important. And what if the person's not local? What if you can't get face-to-face to them? They're in another state, it's just not doable. Well, your only alternative is you're gonna do a Zoom call, video conference. It has to be video, it's not a phone call. If you're having a phone call, that's not a buyer's consultation. A buyer's consultation has to be face-to-face. If it's not in person, it's gonna be on Zoom, cameras on. And I'll leave it at that. So the second mistake I see buyer's agents making, it's not setting proper expectations with the buyer. Usually this happens in large part because people don't have buyer's consultations. So best place to set expectations is up front in that initial meeting. And so this is gonna come down to really letting them know what happens next at every point along the way. And something in particular that's important with buyers is to set an expectation for what scenarios that you can help them, and that you're the first point of contact for anything they can need that's related to any house listed on the market. As crazy as this might sound, if you don't explain to buyers up front that you can help them buy any home, not every buyer is going to know that going into things. For instance, if you don't lay out that no matter what brokerage a home is listed with, no matter if it's being sold by a builder, for sale by owner, anything along those lines, I, as your agent, can help you with any one of those situations. And it's important that you contact me first. And if you don't explain that, there's people out there that otherwise will call the listing agent. There's listing agents that will capitalize on that opportunity, especially if you failed to have a buyer's consultation and did not get your signed documentation done at the end of it, which, by the way, you should always do that. And don't make it awkward, don't delay it. If you set forth, hey, this is what happens next, and you just do that with confidence and certainty as if you've done it 100 times before, even if you haven't, then most people, if they're serious about starting the process, they're gonna wanna take that next step forward with you if that's what you laid out happens next, which that is what happens next. So Don't cut corners. Don't be lackadaisical about your real estate business. This is something that you're the professional. You dictate what happens next, and it's up to you to guide through every step of the process. So set expectations up front. Every single thing that happens along the way, every scenario that they need to contact you first. That way you don't lose out on opportunities just because you didn't do your part to explain things. And then also along those same lines, and from that point on, communication is going to be the most important thing. The buyer should never be guessing at what happens next in the process. You should be ahead of the ball in communication for everything that happens throughout the whole process. If anything, you should over communicate. There shouldn't be periods of time, a week that goes by, etc., that you're not communicating with the buyer what's happening and what needs to happen next in the process. So be overly communicative. In fact, when and if somebody ever has a bad experience with their real estate agent, it almost always boils down to communication. There was a lack of communication, there was miscommunication, there was a lack of effort. People feel like they have a bad experience when the agent's not communicating enough because they don't feel like the agent's doing anything. And so don't be that person. Be communicative, be checking in with people, be ahead of the ball with whatever's happening in the process at every step along the way. That brings me to the third mistake I see buyers agents making, which is not calling the listing agent when preparing an offer. And it blows my mind, and I'm speaking to this one from my experience as a listing agent and really seeing what the difference is, especially when there's multiple offers on the table, to see who actually takes the initiative to call in and who doesn't. It's outstanding how low the percentage of agents are out there that take the initiative to call and gather information and to really see what information they can get out of the listing agent before submitting that offer. And this does a couple things. For one, you don't want to put your buyer in a position where they can miss an opportunity because there was an offer deadline that you didn't know about. So if you know your buyer's interested in offering a property, call the agents, feel out the situation. Are there any other offers on the table? Is there a deadline for offers? Beyond price, what is the most important thing that the seller needs to have happen to move forward with an offer? You never know what you'll hear when you ask that question. And you might even be surprised from time to time some of the answers you get. And it might be a piece of information that's pivotal in you making a deal happen that works for your buyers. So make sure to ask, take the initiative, make the call, get on the phone with the listing agent and do that before getting your offer submitted. And then the fourth mistake that I commonly will see buyers agents making is probably not what you would expect or for me to say at this point, because up to this point we're talking about helping buyers, closing deals. I'm going to mention post-closing. So not having a system for post-closing follow-up. There's a crazy statistic out there that a vast majority, an overwhelming majority of buyers do not use their agent again, even though most of them had a positive experience working with their agent. So why is that? Well, I'll tell you the reason why. It's because most agents don't have a system for post-closing follow-up, which is unfortunate because the most likely source of business for you in the future is someone who's already done business with you, provided that you do not fail to keep in touch with them. But most agents absolutely fail at that. They're doing business as if they're just working to get a transaction closed, and then they forget about people afterwards. At least that's what people that they may or may not think you forgot about them, but reality is if they don't see you at all or hear from you at all after that, then for all intents and purposes you have forgotten about them. And so a lot of people, as crazy as it might sound, they don't do business with their agent again because they forgot who their agent was. I'm laughing, but it's true. That's why I'm laughing. Look up the data on that. But anyway, you don't have to be among those. You can be among the few, the fraction, call it 1 in 10 people that actually do have a solid system post-closing, that they stay in touch and top of mind with their sphere, especially their past clients. If you do that, that's going to lead to not only repeated business from those past clients on average, but also referrals from those past clients, because they're also the most likely person to refer business to you, because if they had a positive experience with you firsthand, as long as they don't forget about you and you are doing things to continue to add value to them over the course of time post-closing, that's going to unlock the door for word of mouth referrals that come from those past clients who your goal as a business owner, if you plan on being in business for a long time in this industry, your goal should be to create advocates out of your past clients, to really understand that every single one of these is an opportunity to get a substantial amount of word of mouth referral business based on the experience that they've had working with you and the experience they continue to have knowing you over the course of time based on the value you consistently provide. And so don't miss out on that opportunity. It's the difference between someone who struggles to get by in this business and someone who just has more business coming into them every single year based on the people that they've already worked with being advocates for them and their brand and their name. And so those are the 4 most common mistakes I see buyer's agents making so that you can avoid making them. In summary, I'm going to tell you what to do instead. So for one, always have a buyer's consultation as a first step. No ifs, ands, or buts. Doesn't matter if it's your best friend, your parents, anyone and everyone. No, you always start with a buyer's consultation, face-to-face, in person, or on a Zoom call, cameras on, no exceptions. Next thing is always set expectations up front. You do that during the buyer's consultation as far as what happens next and what to expect as far as your communication, and always be ahead of the ball with communication throughout the entire process. Third is always call the listing agent when you're preparing an offer. I mean, better yet, when your client indicates that they're interested in making an offer, especially after seeing the property, always call the listing agent to see what other information and insight you can gather to make sure that your client has an opportunity to place an offer if there is multiple offers or a deadline on the property. And the 4th thing is have a system for post-closing follow-up. Have something that you do with every single person you close a deal with to stay top of mind and in front of them from that point onward, knowing that they are the most likely people to either do business with you again or to help refer business to you. It's someone who's already done business. So make sure that it's impossible for them to forget about you based on the system that you have to stay in front of them after closing that transaction. And better yet, what you do to add value to them from that point onward. And you avoid making the mistakes of not doing those things, you will get very far in this business. You will see results where up to this point, maybe you haven't, because you haven't been doing all these things. So I hope this helped. And if it did, do this. Make sure you like, drop me a comment, and hit that subscribe button, because this is the tip of the iceberg as far as the value I have to bring to the table if you stay connected with me over the course of time. So subscribe, and if there's anything I can do to help you now or in the future, go ahead and send me an email. You'll find my email along with some other helpful information for you in the description below. That being said, thank you so much for watching the video. I truly hope it helped, and until next time, I'll look forward to seeing you on the next video.